A tourist was visiting the border between South and North Korea when his hat was blown by the wind across the line. He froze, not daring to cross to retrieve it. Just then, a North Korean soldier walked over, picked up the hat, dusted it off, and tried to return it. The South Korean officer in charge politely accepted it. The atmosphere was less tense than expected. However, when someone tried to take a photo, South Korean guards quickly stepped in and escorted the person away. The border remained heavily guarded. These were people of the same blood, divided into enemies by a line. On this heavily fortified border, where even a fly might be shot, something ridiculous happened. A South Korean soldier on duty spat into North Korean territory. In response, a North Korean soldier spat back. What should have been a deadly serious place was lightened, briefly, by this spitting battle. The unusual incident began a few nights earlier. A South Korean soldier accidentally crossed the border during patrol and stepped on a landmine while retreating. He raised his rifle, alert only to see a small dog run out of the grass. The dog's barks drew North Korean soldiers. The two sides stared at each other, tension high. But when they learned the North Koreans were only searching for their lost dog, an older North Korean soldier stepped forward and disarmed the landmine for him. As a keepsake, he even gave the South Korean soldier the fuse. The experience left the South Korean soldier with mixed feelings. He was deeply impressed by the two North Koreans. Later, during a patrol in heavy snow, his unit ran into a North Korean squad. To his surprise, he recognized the soldiers who had helped him. They recognized each other and smiled secretly. From then on, as the weather improved, they often saw each other while on duty. Sometimes they even joked around. To show his gratitude, the South Korean soldier wrote a letter, placed it in a cigarette box, and threw it to the North Korean post. The box flew through the night, tearing a small opening in the border between the two countries. They began to communicate this way, calling each other brother, and sharing favorite music tapes and books. Then one night, the South Korean soldier actually crossed the border and entered the North Korean guard post. It turned out one of the North Korean soldiers had jokingly invited him over in a letter to say thanks. No one expected him to actually come. Though it wasn't a real invitation, the three couldn't resist the rare chance for friendship. They gathered in a basement, drinking and talking. The South Korean soldier learned that the North Koreans weren't the cold-blooded monsters his commanders described. During the conversation, they began to show off. Trying to prove himself, the South Korean soldier suddenly drew his gun, startling the North Koreans. One of the North Korean soldiers, a combat veteran, stayed calm, instantly loading his rifle and aiming it back. The South Korean soldier, who had never seen real battle, was terrified. Remembering the fuse he'd received as a gift, he gave the North Korean soldier a lighter. It was a common item in the South, but extremely precious in the North. The other North Korean soldier was upset he didn't get a gift, but the South Korean hadn't forgotten. He gave him his favorite colorful magazine. At this moment they are like real friends.